Happy to be joined by Mr. Syndicate himself, John Wood, who of course was in the corner of Merab Dvalishvili, putting on one of the best bantamweight fights of all time as he took out Umar Nurmagomedov at UFC 311. Coach Wood, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Couldn't have gone any better. It was a great weekend for the team. Moeen Gafarov set off the night, getting, going out there and having a stellar performance that led into obviously a giant performance from Merab. So everything's great.
Does this win mean more than the O'Malley win just because of, everything that went into it? There was a lot of, we heard about the injuries and the cut and all that going into the fight and the adversity. Does this win mean more than the O'Malley one if you had to rank it?
Yeah, I think so. It really honestly felt like we were the challenger again. It felt like that Umar was the champion, we're the underdog, and just all the hype again, and all the, it was like a foregone conclusion that Merab was just going to get mauled out there and submitted, and we weren't going to even win a round and that kind of stuff. And been there before. Like I said, the O'Malley fight was a fun one that kind of prepared me for those things. So this one, in how he did it, who he did it against, and in just the odds again, being the champion and still being the underdog and still getting disrespected in the way and by a lot of the people and fans and media and everybody didn't give him a chance. So I think to me it felt bigger and better.
How did it feel to basically call this fight to a T in our last interview? I know the clip got posted the other day, just kind of going over how, later in the fight, you felt like Merab would take over. That must have been nice, like you said, as well, just because there were people who, even the betting odds, counting Merab out so much, he was like almost like a 3-1 underdog.
Yeah. When it closed, he was 3-1. And honestly, this whole camp, it couldn't have gone, there's times as coach where you game plan a fight out how you think it's going to go, and it goes that way, and sometimes it doesn't. But when it goes to a T, everything that we did in the last 6 weeks, and probably even 4 weeks of actually working between the injuries and all those things, Merab learned and adapted, and he pulled it off in that fight to a T. It literally looked exactly like his every sparring session that he has in here, Tuesday, Thursdays, his cage rounds. Even the things that I said to him in the corner, the adjustments he made to a T. So when that happens, it's amazing. It's awesome. It's a great feeling. And I had already kind of preset in Merab's mind, hey, listen, those first 2 rounds are going to be hard, and he might steal him. It's
Yeah.
okay if we give up the first 2 rounds. Like by the middle of the second round, I want you putting the gas on. In the first round or two, I want him to know that nothing is going to be easy. If he shoots a takedown, it ain't happening. If he hits you, you're still there. If he takes you down, we're getting up and starting to work on that mental pressure and those mental cardio, what I call the mental cardio part of it. If we break that mental cardio down, then the body's soon after. And you could just see at the end of the second, the swings start to happen, and by the third, it was, full gas.
Did you know his hand was broken in the fight?
No, obviously it was broken. I kind of question if it was broken in the first round,
Mhm.
but no idea. He didn't give any indications. He wasn't throwing it any less or any harder, any less hard. It didn't look like, a lot of times fighters break their hands and start shaking or maybe throwing things less. He was still engaged with everything. So we had no clue of that happening. So, if he did break it in the first round, props to him for fighting through, with it. But guess what? That's a fight, and shit happens.
Any worries at the judges' scorecards? Because you never know, right, when it comes to the decisions. Did it go through your mind like, man, they better not screw this up?
It really didn't. This is one of those ones I honestly felt that he that he had the last 3 rounds hands down, not even a question. I didn't feel that those were, they were. I'm not saying it was a landslide, but I thought we clearly took those last 3 rounds, and even the first round or the first and second round were close enough that it maybe could have gone one of those could have gone the other way. But if it's always close for me, I'm always going to give it to the other guy, just to lean more to the cautious side. But I really didn't feel that he wasn't. I didn't feel that Umar had any shot at getting his hand raised.
We mentioned the broken hand. I've heard people say that, if the hand wasn't broken, fight's different. And then I've also heard people call it a robbery. Does that surprise you a bit just because, it was a close fight, but at the same time, like it's almost kind of taking away from what Merab did in there, right?
No, he's gonna have his fans. He's gonna have people that are gonna die on the, they're gonna die on the hill for him, and that's fine. That's MMA. That's just like I said, people are gonna find whatever. Guess what? Don't break your hand next time. Maybe don't throw the punch so hard or don't throw it so shitty. I don't know.
Hmm.
Like wrap your hands better. Whatever it is, that's part of fighting. I could say get. So I'll just put this out there. Before Peter Yan, Merab's hand was shattered. His hand was the size of a football. We could barely get the glove on it. He
Hmm.
didn't go out there, and that was beginning the between before round one even went on. Didn't affect his performance. He went out there and handled like a man. His hand was broken after that fight into pieces and surgery. So, these things happen in fighting. Would it have gone different? I don't know. Like, is your hand the last time I checked, your hand isn't connected to your lungs to affect your cardio, to affect your breathing.
Hmm.
So would that have slowed him down or made him have better cardio? Would that have made him less exhausted if his hand wasn't broken? I don't know. That's questionable.
Yeah.
So, do I think that that affected the fight? Of course, I think anything that in those situations you're going to be thinking about it. But again, the guy's got a great poker face. He's a great fighter. He didn't show it. No one knew, So I don't know. I think he was out there performing at his level. And if you whatever makes a fighter want to sleep better at night, or those kind of things, then it is what it is. Marab came into this fight with half a leg. Marab came into this fight with no back. Who cares? Like it's a
Hmm.
fight. You're going to go out there. You sign up for whatever happens. You sign up for whatever's going to happen. You expect these things. Things are going to break in fights. Do I think it's any different fight? Absolutely not. Do I think the same thing happens? Absolutely.
Dana basically let it slip last week, kind of that it does look like Sean O'Malley's going to be next, and you guys are going to have that rematch. Just as a coach, when would you like that fight to happen? Because I think we even talked before the fight. This fight was a little soon from his last performance. Maybe give him a little bit more time off. Ideally, when would you like to have that title defense?
Yeah, I would appreciate, if he could have a couple months to just like chill,
Yeah.
and by chill, I mean he's going to be back in here the next few days training. That dude is not, he doesn't stop, but he's earned the right to heal. We've got to get some things taken care of, some injuries fixed up. Um, I would like to have him have like a month or two of not having to think about who's next and not having to game plan for another fighter, instead of just kind of working on what is good for him, improving him, and getting him better at his skill sets, and not, like I said, having so much focus on another guy. So, if we get lined up by, you know, May or June, that wouldn't make me mad.
Okay.
April would be a little quick, but May, June-ish, I would feel like we have plenty of time to heal what we need to do and get better.
Maybe International Fight Week in July, or is that too far away? Because that's always a pretty like a marquee event for the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the UFC knows what they're doing, and they do business better than we do, and they're great at how they want to run things. So I'm pretty sure they already have it set in their mind of where and when we're going to fight. That would be kind of far out for Marab. I don't know that he would want to wait that long.
Okay.
He likes to stay active, and I know, knowing him, he probably wants to get 3 or 4 more this year. But I think May or June would probably suit him fine.
Okay. How differently will the fight go with O'Malley this time, do you think? Just because, again, it seems like Merab's leveling up. O'Malley would be going right from the loss to Merab to this fight. Just looking at the rematch, how do you see that playing out?
Honestly, um, I think Rob finishes him in a rematch.
Okay.
I really do. I think that it's a two-sided, it's a two-sided sword there, where they've been in there with Rob. Now O'Malley's been in there with Rob. He's going to go back to the drawing board and figure out what he felt in there, try to work on it, try to get better, and try to, stop those things. And I've said it earlier that, that's my job to figure out what he thinks he's going to do, what he thinks he's going to improve upon, and make, our game plan to counter that game plan. And rematches are always tricky with that. Once Marab has the element of surprise when you get in there. You've never been in there with somebody like that. Now he has, so I expect, him and Tim to come up with some game plan that would potentially shut some of the things down. But again, Marab is getting so much better on such a fast pace that I think no matter what goes on in there, he's going to be prepared for it. said the things and the adjustments that he made just in 5 weeks for Umar, that's all things that we've just worked on in 5 weeks. And he went out there and implemented it to a T, So I don't know, obviously with O'Malley, you have to worry about the power, you have to worry about the length, but we didn't have a problem with any of that stuff before. And people are going to soon realize that Merab, he's got a chin, man. You're not, it's not knocking him out. It's not going to be easy deal. Having him, earlier the knock on him was always chinny. He's never been chinny. He just never had his feet underneath him. He never had his balance. He never had his proportions right on how he was moving. And now we've kind of taken care of that. And that's why when you see him get hit in these times and these days, that it's not some big reaction, and I think that his defense is getting better. So I think by the time they fight, Merab will have leveled up just that much more. And we already saw who the better fighter was before. So, said good coach, good, great fighter. I expect them to come out and give it a real go.
A big fight in the bantamweight division. Henry Cejudo and Song Yadong. Who do you see winning that fight?
Again, this is another one kind of talking about with Israel. Is Cejudo still motivated to train? Has he still got, that championship mentality and those qualities still in there? Age and time and fighting always, it very rarely do you end up, better than you were when you were younger, and more motivated. So if he still has the drive and still has the capabilities of doing what he did before, the guy's a former world champion. He's a very dangerous fighter. He's obviously Olympic level, Olympic champion. Um, it's he presents those. He's always going to present those problems, but Song's on the come up right now, and he's young and he's got some power and got some footwork. That's an interesting one to see. I really don't know who I would call. I would maybe lean to Song a little bit on that one, just on the the motivation factor. So, but it could be a close one. But I would have to say, I think.
Any update on Khalil and when we might see him fight again? Because obviously he had that great fight with Pereira. I know it didn't go his way, but showed a lot of heart in that one. And any idea when we could see him back?
Yeah, there's some names starting to come through. There's some talks. He's healthy. He's starting to get back in the gym now, and obviously the one I think we're looking at that we'd love to have that makes the most sense would probably be Yuri. Coming off that big win, and it's just a matter of is Yuri next in line? Is he going to sit for a shot? Are they going to make him take one more? I would love to see Khalil and Yuri go at it. I think that'd be a fan favorite fight. It's Yuri's such a crazy dude and comes with all kinds of crazy angles and different style of striking and punches, and it'd be a fun one to game plan for. But I think that Khalil has a great skill set that matches up with him.
I know you're always busy. Who else you got coming up as far as fights? I just talked to Cody Steele before we hopped on here. I know you got Vince Morales fighting. Like, what's going on at Syndicate as far as your schedule? Because it doesn't stop with Merab. You've got a lot of cornering duties to do.
Right back this weekend, I had Thursday to Karate Combat for Brandon Jenkins, and then
nice.
from there I head down to Boston for Don Shanis.
Cage Titans, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Cage Titan title. And then I get back, and then I head to Australia for Cody Steele. And then I get back, and then it's Nazim Sokolov, Jacqueline Cavalcante, and Vince Morales all on that card.
There you go.
So the next 3 weeks are fun, but all good problems to have. I wouldn't change a thing.
What about this week? Do you get any time off? Get to enjoy this? You and the wife get to do anything this week, or is it still back to the grind?
Man, I hit the ground running right back. I mean, we went and got a Thai massage last night, had some dinner, and then full schedule today. And then I got, Cerrone, Cowboy Cerrone, blowing my phone up. He wants to come in and start training with him today. And then, I've got a full schedule all this week. Like I said, I head out Thursday to the East Coast and then back to back to Australia. So there is really, having an active, successful gym and team, you're pretty much on the go all the time. So that's just the way you want it.
And making time for interviews. Next time we'll get some Vegas Nights talk, maybe closer to the playoffs or the trade deadline. We'll definitely get some talk in there, John. But thank you for doing this. I know you've been doing a lot of media, so if there's anything you want to mention before we get out of here, I'll give you the last word.
Oh man, just everybody, follow Syndicate MMA and keep supporting the team and keep counting us as the underdogs. I like that position. It seems to suit us well.